My name's Adam. I'm 34, and I hadn't intended to write any of this. But after what happened at my younger brother's wedding, I can't keep it bottled up anymore. Just for some background, my relationship with my brother Jason, who's 31, has always been complicated. He's the charming one, the golden boy. He's made a name for himself and always knows how to say the right thing. I've been more reserved, the guy who figures things out, covers the gaps, steps in when our folks couldn't afford something. And still, I somehow faded into the background of Jason's highlight reel. Growing up, we were never close. Jason was the kind of kid who'd break something and let me take the blame. I was the peacemaker, the one who absorbed the heat so things wouldn't escalate. Mom and Dad would sigh and mutter, "He's still learning." "You're the older one," set an example. And I did. Even when he took my car at 17 and scraped it backing out of a house party, I paid for the damage and kept it quiet. When he called me from the police station at 21 after getting caught trying to steal a bottle of cologne for his girlfriend, it was me who showed up, paid the bail, and took him home. Always the fixer, always quiet. Fast forward to now. Jason's getting married to someone named Emily. We'd met a few times in the last couple of years, and if I'm being honest, we never really connected. She always looked like she was half listening when you talked, dressed like she walked out of a fashion magazine, and always had this way of glancing past you like she was scanning for someone more interesting. She once called my job in supply chain management adorable. I kept my distance. Still, when the wedding invitations went out, I RSP'd yes. I even helped Jason find a caterer I knew through work. I didn't expect to be the best man. I'm not delusional, but I figured I'd at least get a decent table, maybe feel like part of the celebration for once. The wedding was held at this beautiful venue out in the countryside. Rustic barn, draped lights, a lake shimmering in the background. Picture perfect. I arrived early, brought a gift. A monogrammed decanter set with their initials and wedding date. It wasn't flashy, just something thoughtful and lasting. At the welcome table, a young woman with a headset looked at the list, then paused. "You're Adam, right?" she asked. I nodded. She frowned slightly. "You're marked as a +1. I blinked. "I'm his brother." She looked flustered. "Oh, that must be a mistake. Let me check." But before she could leave, Emily came over. Gorgeous dress, flawless makeup, and a smile that barely touched her eyes. "Hey, Adam," she said, drawing out my name like she'd bitten into something sour. "Glad you made it. I told the planner about your seat. Hope that's okay." "You sat me by the kitchen," I said. She gave a little laugh. "Not in the kitchen, just near it. It's where we put the +1s. I mean, technically you're not in the wedding party, and we had to prioritize space for extended family and close friends. No hard feelings, right?" I looked past her into the reception space. Gorgeous tables with candles and fine linens. My uncle, who hadn't talked to Jason in years, had a seat near the front. My cousin Matt, who once stole from our grandma, had a prime spot. And then I saw her, my ex, Olivia. 2 tables away from the sweetheart table, laughing with a glass of Prosecco. Jason had introduced us. When we broke up, I found out they'd stayed close. Of course, she had a seat. Emily followed my gaze. "Oh yeah, we invited Olivia. She and Jason stayed in touch. She's always been so supportive. You're cool with that, right?" I didn't say anything, just nodded. Walked to my seat, an awkward folding chair near a swinging door where servers were bustling past with trays of food, apologizing as they went. It was loud, smelled like overcooked fish and something burned. I sat there for a second, watching the ceremony begin. Jason leaned over and whispered something to Olivia as they passed her table. She smiled. I saw my gift get tossed aside on the pile. Then I stood up, walked back to the table, picked up the box, and headed for the exit. As I passed Emily near the dance floor, she called after me. "Wait, where are you going?" I turned and said, +1. A few people gasped. Someone snorted. I didn't care. I walked out. Calm, slow, not storming off. Just done. and I think that's what really got to them. I made it to the parking lot when I heard footsteps. Jason chasing me down, Tuck's jacket flapping, half panicked. Adam, what the hell? Why are you leaving? It's my wedding. You sat me by the kitchen. He hesitated. It wasn't, I didn't know. Emily did the chart. I thought, look, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal? I said. You gave Olivia a better seat than your own brother. He scratched the back of his neck. She wanted certain people up front. She didn't want tension. Tension, I repeated. You mean me? Your brother? He had no reply. That silence, it broke something in me. Or maybe it finally snapped back together. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything, just walked to my car and left. I didn't go home. I drove around, windows down, the night air cooling the heat in my chest. I ended up at this lookout spot above the city, just lights stretching across the hills like sparks. I sat there for a long time, letting years of built-up disappointment wash over me. That's when I decided I was done. I wouldn't be quiet anymore. Wouldn't keep eating disrespect to keep the peace. I ignored Jason's text that night. The next morning, I got one from Emily. Sorry about the mix-up yesterday. Hope you're not still upset. Let's move on. Right. But I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop. You see, in my job, I don't just manage deliveries. I handle event logistics, vendor contracts, damage control. And I had connections, including the caterer I'd recommended to Jason. I gave Nancy, the manager, a call. Told her I didn't feel right recommending someone who let a client treat me like that. She was quiet for a beat, then said, honestly, if you hadn't helped us coordinate last-minute changes, we wouldn't have made it. They underpaid their deposit and changed the guest list 3 days before. I'm sorry they treated you like that. That was all I needed. It meant they'd messed up on paper. There were receipts, contract clauses. I didn't go nuclear. I played the long game. First, I canceled the matching glassware set I'd ordered for their wedding gift, redirected it to myself. Then I called the photographer, another friend, told her I wouldn't be referring anyone who gave Jason and Emily the family rate. Quiet cuts. Then, a week later, I got an email from Jason. Subject, need help? They'd been gifted a trip to Bali by one of Emily's uncles, but hit passport issues and booking problems. You're the only one I trust to fix this stuff. No apology. Just need. I typed a reply. Hey, Jason, I'd love to help, but unfortunately, this +1 isn't taking bookings anymore. Good luck. Didn't send it. Instead, I forwarded his email to my friend Angela, who handles luxury travel. Asked her to blacklist them. Petty? Maybe, but it felt right. 2 days later, Jason texted me. Sounded panicked. Flights canceled. No villa refund. What's your problem? I was at dinner when Emily's name popped up. Voicemail. Adam, this is ridiculous. Tyler is losing it. You've made your point. Fix it. And I laughed. Loud. In the middle of a restaurant. I didn't fix it. Because I didn't owe them that. And the fallout? It was just beginning.